Going to do a really lovely 45-minute Pilates class, which is going to focus on opening out your shoulders, improving your posture, getting rid of any aches and pains that you might be suffering from through your neck, your shoulders, and your lower back. And also we're going to get your hips working, your ankles working, and fire up your core as well, with a few little challenges thrown in there. It's really important that you listen to your body. So if there's anything that we do today that doesn't feel right for you, please don't do the exercise. I'm going to give you a couple of modifications and adaptations throughout the class, so you can choose whichever level suits you best. And if you want to do this class again and make it slightly harder, you can add in a pair of hand weights or a couple of water bottles, or whatever you've got to hand, to add on a little bit of resistance and make it slightly more challenging. If you're pregnant, if you've had a baby within the last 6 weeks, if you're recovering from major surgery, especially abdominal and spinal surgery, or if you're waiting to see a doctor or have any injuries that you're worried about, please sit this class out. Just listen to your body and don't push yourself to do anything that you're not ready for yet. Okay, so equipment-wise, what we need is an exercise mat like this one, but if you don't have one of these, you can use a folded up towel or a blanket, something just to give you a little bit of padding from the floor. You also need to have a couple of cushions, just very flat cushions like these two. If you don't have anything like this, you can use something that you have from your sofa, just provided it's fairly flat, just to give your head a little bit of height from the floor. Feel free to have a rest at any time, grab a drink of water, whatever you need. There's no pressure to do all the class, just do what's right for you. And finally, if you like this class, I'd really appreciate it if you could head over to my Facebook page, which is Shoreline Pilates, as in seashore, and give me a like and a review there. Okay, so we're going to start in something called standing correctly position. Now, that is where we're standing with our feet hip distance apart. So try and line your feet up so they're directly beneath your hips, with your toes pointing forwards, feet parallel. Just take a couple of seconds here to ground yourself down into the floor and feel how the weight goes down through your left foot and your right foot. You should be trying to get the weight equal through there. So just rocking forwards and backwards ever so slightly, and from side to side as well. You should be able to feel the weight transfer through your feet. Okay, so you might be able to feel the weight going down through the ball of your foot, so the base of your big toe and your little toe, and your heel. You should be able to just pick your toes up as well, without moving the rest of your body. Okay, so moving our awareness up to our knees now. Ask yourself if when you bend your knees, they go directly over your toes. So we don't want them coming together or out to the side. We're going to try and keep our legs nice and strong and get your knees going directly over your toes when you bend them. Okay, so awareness coming up to your hips now. Place your hands on your hips and ask yourself if you're pushing your right hip forward or your left hip forward, or if they're nicely balanced. So we're aiming for a really balanced, aligned body. And now your awareness is coming up to your rib cage. You can ask whether you're flaring out, so you're leaning backwards, or whether you're rocking forward. Just trying to balance. So you can imagine a piece of thread coming up through the crown of your head. So you're lengthening up through your spine. Your rib cage is balanced over your hips. Your arms are hanging long and heavy, and we're just trying to release any tension that you're holding through your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. So we'll start with a few little shoulder rolls. So just breathing normally now, we're going to shoulder roll back. Now, Pilates is a slower form of exercise. You're not going to get a massive calorie burn, but by doing these slow, repetitive, controlled exercises, you'll be teaching your body how to move really well. And that's going to help injury-proof our bodies and get rid of any aches and pains that you've been holding in there, especially because we've been spending so much time working from home, maybe leaning over a laptop, not getting enough breaks in there as well. Okay, so try and make these shoulder rolls as big as you can. And then we're going to go the other way. So circling around the other way. Good. We're trying to keep it slow. So by keeping it slow, it means that we can get full range of movement through this joint. We'll do one more. You might feel a few little cricks and cracks going on through there. Then let your shoulders melt down. So now we're going to go into a shoulder up to your ear. And then let your shoulder blades glide down the back of your rib cage like 2 bars of soap, just melting down. So we're going to breathe in to bring our shoulders all the way up to our ears and breathe out to melt down. Good. Breathing in and out to melt down. Breathing in again and out. Super. Okay, we're going to take 3 more here. So when we're breathing in, we're trying to fill our lungs with as much air as possible. So you can imagine that your rib cage is expanding. It's a little bit different from yogic breathing. So yogic breathing sends a breath to your tummy. This time we're doing something called lateral breathing, which is where it goes into our rib cage. Good. Okay, so now we're just going to turn our head from side to side. So a really simple exercise, but actually just doing a simple movement can really help wake up the muscles in your neck. Just want to stretch them out. So they tend to get quite tight, especially when we're working on a computer and you're concentrating. This should hopefully feel really nice just to do this simple exercise. It's like you're drawing a line with your nose from right to left. Good. Okay, 1 more to each side. And come back through to center. Okay, so now we're going to focus on movement of our shoulders. We're going to do something called floating arms. They're still standing in your standing correctly position. Breathing in here. As we breathe out, we're going to start floating our arms out to the side, reaching through our fingers and trying to get as much space through that joint as possible. Reaching our arms all the way up to the top. And then inhale to reach out to the sides and down. Okay, we're going to go a few more times. So we're breathing out. I'm aware that my arms are just going to disappear off the top of the screen. Breathing out and breathing in. So we're making it nice and slow. If you want to add on more of a challenge, you can do this exercise with your hand weights. But we're just getting some really lovely movement through our shoulders. Again, keeping it slow. So this is teaching us something called scapulohumeral rhythm, which is a correct movement of all the muscles that surround the shoulder girdle. So again, you might be feeling that your shoulders are super tight. So we're going to start slow. And as that muscle group warms up a little bit more, you might find that you can make the movement a bit smoother. Okay, so now we're going to bring our awareness to our hips. So with this exercise, it's really easy to push our hips forward as we raise our arms up. We're going to try our best to engage our core muscles. So bring your toe button in towards your spine as you raise your arms all the way up and inhale to come down. Okay, we're going to do a few more of these. So breathing out, remember to bring our arms up, bring your toe muscles in and breathe in to reach out to the side and down. Excellent, good. We're going to go a few more times. Breathing out, bring your arms up and inhale to come down. We've got one last one to go here. Breathing out, arms coming all the way up and inhale to come down. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to make the movement a little bit bigger now and do something called arm circles. So again, we're focusing on the movement through your shoulders, and this is going to really help open out the front of your chest, open out the pectoral muscles, which are here and here, and just correct your posture as well, because you're getting all those shoulder muscles working, as well as challenging the top of your spine, which is what helps keep in this upright position. So just like before, we start with our arms down by our sides in our standing correctly position. We're going to breathe in here, and as we breathe out this time, we're going to raise our arms all the way up through the front in direct line with your shoulders, once again making sure you're not pushing your hips forward. And as you breathe in, reach out to the side and down. So we're trying to make this circle as big as possible. So reaching your arms forward, keeping your wrists in line with your shoulders all the way up so that your arms are level with your ears, and then reach out to the sides and down. Again, we're keeping this movement smooth and slow as well. So that slow movement means that you can really focus on the control. Good, let's go again. Ask yourself once more if you're pushing your hips forward, and check in with what's going on through your feet as well. Are you clutching at the mat with your toes? And are you clenching your jaw with concentration? Good. So again, if you want to do this with an extra challenge, you can grab your pair of hand weights and hold them in your hands as you do this movement. Reaching out to the side. We've got one more already. So arms going forward and up. reaching out to the side and down. Excellent. You might already be feeling a little bit more easy and open through the front of your shoulders. Now we're going to go the other way. So breathing in to prepare, and out this time, floating arms just like before. All the way up to the top, my arms have gone again, and reach forward and down, nice and slowly. You might find that one direction is easier than the other. And if you have any shoulder issues, you might find that you can't get as much mobility from left to right or vice versa. But just do what's good for you, okay? Don't push through any pain. Just find whatever movement works for you best, but remember to keep it slow, controlled, and move with your breath. So inhale to come down and forward. Let's go again. Breathing out to reach our arms out to the side. And inhale to come forward. Super. Okay, 2 more times like this. Breathing out. Keep your tummy muscles engaged. Reaching forward and down. Lovely. And one last one. Reaching out to the side. Smooth. Forward and down. Give your shoulders a little bit of a shake. Get rid of any tension that you might inadvertently be holding there. Okay, so we're going to move into something called chicken wings now. Now you're going to have to watch me as we do this exercise because it's quite hard to explain. So once again, standing correctly positioned, toe muscles coming in, arms hanging long down by your sides. We're going to breathe in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to float our arms up just to shoulder height with our palms facing down. Then, as we inhale, we're drawing our elbows back in line with our shoulders. Exhale to rotate and push our arms up. And inhale to come forward and down. Okay, let's do that again. We inhale to prepare. And exhale to draw our arms up to shoulder height. Inhale to draw our elbows back in line with our shoulders. Exhale to rotate. Push our arms all the way up through to the top. And inhale to return down. Okay, so now we're getting some really lovely movement through our shoulders. We're controlling it, and it might feel really nice and opening. So breathing out, start raising your arms up just to shoulder height. Inhale, draw your elbows back. Exhale, rotate. Keep your upper arms completely still as you rotate. Still exhaling, press your arms up in the air. And inhale to reach forward and down. Good. Okay, going from the side now to show you from the side. We're exhaling to raise our arms up to shoulder height. Inhaling, draw your elbows back. Exhale, rotate. Press up to the top. And inhale, reach forward and down. We're going to do one more like this. Reaching our arms all the way up. Draw your elbows back. Feel your chest expand here. Rotate up. Press your arms all the way up to the top and float them back down by your sides. Super. So that one, we've got some lovely flexion and extension through our shoulders, as well as lovely rotation, which is going to help keep our shoulder joint really healthy. So you've got some more rotation now. And again, this exercise is fantastic for our posture. So if you found that since working from home, you're starting just to stoop over a little bit and your shoulders are getting rounded, this exercise is really going to help open you out here, feeling nice and tall. So find your standing correct position once again. Imagine that piece of thread pulling up through the top of your head. Bring your toe muscles in so your pelvic floor is engaged. So just bring that pelvic floor up. So for women, it's like if you're going to the toilet and trying to stop mid-flow. And for men, it's as if you're about to walk into the North Sea, and it's that same feeling that you get there. Okay, so toe muscles coming in. Imagine your toe button coming through to your spine, arms hanging heavy. And then for this one, we're going to bring our forearms up. So our forearms are parallel with the floor, and our elbow is going to work as our pivot point. So we're going to keep our upper arm vertical and just rotate out to the side. So you can see my elbow is staying completely still. So let's go with both arms now. We're going to breathe in to prepare and breathe out. Start rotating out to the side. So your elbows are completely still, and inhale to come back through to center. Again, for more of a challenge, hold a pair of hand weights in your hands. And throughout this exercise, you should really feel these muscles here working as you open your arm out, okay? So you're breathing out to open. Feel the back of your shoulders switch on as you take your arms out to the side. Inhale to come back. Exhaling again. And inhale to come back. Good. Okay, lovely. Let's go again. Breathing out to open. And inhale to come back. So you might have had to start quite small, but as your muscles warm up, we get something called synovial fluid becoming more smooth and easy to move. So it's like if you had a smoothie in the fridge and it's really thick when you bring that smoothie out. And as the smoothie gets warmer, you might find it's a little bit more liquid. And the same goes for synovial fluid. So you can tell it's lubricating our joints a little bit more, which makes the movement really much more easy as your joints warm up. Okay, we're going to do 2 more like this. Breathing out and in. Fab. Final one. Tummy muscles still coming in. Jaw release, chin up. And come back through. Bring your arms down. Excellent. So now we're going to give our shoulders a bit of rest and come into some movements for our hips, our knees and our ankles. So we're going to start with something called a Pilates squat. So we're going to stand with our feet ever so slightly closer together than hip distance. Find that lovely neutral position. So you've got your hips balanced over your knees and your ankles. Your shoulders melting down, core muscles coming in to support you, and that lovely length through your spine. You've got a piece of thread pulling up here. So for our Pilates squats, we're going to move on the in-breath this time. And as you breathe in, we're going to hinge at the hips. So I'm going to press my hips backwards, tummy muscles coming on, knees and ankles and hips bending, and press through to come back up on my out breath. Okay, so it is if you're going into that downhill skiing position. So your toe muscles really switch on, and keeping my spine and pelvis in that neutral position that we found when we were standing. So the power is coming through your quads, your hamstrings and your glutes. So inhale, press your bottom back, downhill skier, or as if you're about to squat down on a public toilet. Pressing through your heels to come up. So inhale, coming down. Ask yourself whether your knees are coming together or whether you're clutching at the mat with your toes. We're going to try and keep our feet relaxed. Keep your knees in perfect alignment. So this exercise is fantastic for teaching our body how to work in great alignment. So our knees, our quads, and the muscles surrounding our knees are really working. So if you find that you ever have some weak ankles or knees, this should be a really nice exercise to help you there. But if you're struggling with your knees, you can pop a cushion between them just to give you a little bit of feedback about where you are in space. Lovely. Okay, we're going to do 2 more like this. So breathing in to come down and breathing out to come back up. Lovely. 1 more. So really nice to get our knees, our hips working, pressing through your glutes as you power back up to that neutral position. All right, so now we're going to add in some arm movement. So this is really going to challenge you because you need to work simultaneously with your lower body and your upper body. So as well as getting the alignment and the core control, you're getting your coordination working as well. So your brain is going to kick in a different method. Okay, so going to stand in that lovely standing correctly position, feet ever so slightly closer together. This time, as we breathe in, we hinge back and simultaneously raise your arms up so that they're going forward. Then breathing out, press through your heels, power your glutes to come to standing. You might find that you're getting a little bit breathless like me. So we're going to hinge back, arms go forward, feet relaxed, tummy muscles still coming in here. Make sure that you're not rounding through your lower back. So if you're rounding through your lower back, you're actually tilting your pelvis. So you're not going to be doing your back any favors. We're going to try and keep our back in that neutral position. So arms going forward. Your gaze should just angle down towards the edge of your mat. So we're not kind of tilting our head back. We're not dropping our head down. We're just keeping the back of our neck nice and long. Super, let's do 2 more. Inhaling, tummy muscles coming in. Remember to use your glutes as you press through your heels to come back up to standing. And 1 more. Okay. And pressing back through. Super. Okay, so you can either stick with that exercise or we can make it a little bit more hard because we're going to add in a balance. So this time we're going to come down into that position just like before. And then as we breathe out, we're going to raise all the way up smoothly, but keep taking our arms back and raise up onto our tiptoes. So it's like that piece of thread is really pulling you up to the ceiling. So squatting down and raising up. Come up onto your tiptoes, keep your chin up, take your arms back. So we're getting some lovely movement through that shoulder joint once again. Challenging your balance now. Your core muscles are going to switch on. Your deep stabilizing muscles right within your torso surrounding your hips are going to be working hard as you come into that balance. So breathing out, raising up, take your arms back, come into that lovely balance, keep your ankles really strong. And we've got 2 more to go. Breathing in. And out to press all the way up. Arms coming back, tummy muscles still switched on. And our final one. Super, you're doing really well. Remember to keep your spine and pelvis in neutral. Come all the way up. And come back down. Whew. Well done. Okay, so you just walk out through your feet. Stand nice and tall once again and find that neutral position. So now we're going to go into something called a side twist standing. So we're working on rotation through our spine now. So our spine can work in 4 planes of movement. We've got flexion, which is where we roll forward. Extension, like in a cobra, where you're taking your spine back. We've got lateral flexion, which is a side-to-side movement, and we've also got rotation. As we get older, we tend to lose the rotation element of our spine. So it's really important to keep that going. So we're going to stand in our standing correctly position and then cross your hands over so that your hands are on the opposite shoulders. Bring your toe muscles in and imagine that your lower body is really encased in concrete, so it can't move at all. There's going to be no movement from your hips down. So we're crossing our arms over. Still imagine that piece of thread coming through the crown of your head, so you're nice and tall through here. Breathing in, and then as you breathe out, we're just going to start with a turn of the head and then start rotating around, keeping your hips completely still. And inhale to come back through to center. Now you're going to start small. So because we haven't done any rotation yet today, you're not going to be used to moving this position. The muscles need to warm up as well as those joints. So we're starting small. And as we do this a little bit more, you might find that you've got a little bit more movement through here. So you can use your hands to ask yourself whether you're rounding your shoulders forward. So we're not rounding forward, we're keeping our shoulders nice and wide, keeping our breastbone really open. And again, making sure that you're not moving through your hips. Now, I'm really struggling today with this one. I'm quite stiff. I had a bit of a run yesterday and I'm really feeling it now. So we're going to rotate to the side and then we're going to swap our arms over and go again. So rotating to the side, coming back through to center. Breathing out to rotate. Breathing in to come back through to the center. Lovely. Going again. Feeling maybe a little bit easier now. Remembering that your hips are completely still. There's no movement whatsoever through your hips. And final one here. Come back to center and bring your arms down. Excellent. Okay, so now working into our balance one more time. Now, if you know that you're not very good with your balance, you might need to have a chair next to you or a wall. And you can place your finger on the wall or the chair. And that's just going to help give you a little bit of feedback and help your brain adjust to where you are. It's just going to help. You don't need to put all your weight on there. Just one finger will work perfectly well. So we're going to start feet hip distance apart once again. Tummy muscles coming in. So imagine long back of neck. As we breathe out, we're just going to transfer the weight onto one leg and raise the other knee up so it's level with our hip. Inhale to bring that leg down and go on to the other side. So showing you from the side now, tummy muscles coming in. You can see that I'm not moving my body at all. I'm just bringing one leg up and down at a time. If you can't bring that knee all the way up to hip height, just take it a couple of centimeters off the floor. And then as you get more confident and the movement gets easier, you can take that leg slightly higher. So breathing out. Again, ask yourself what's going on through your shoulders and your jaw. Are you tensing them with concentration? Breathing out and in. Okay, so this time, ask what's going on through your pelvis. Are you tucking your pelvis and rolling through your lumbar spine, or are you keeping nice and tall? You're going to try and keep that neutral spine and pelvis once again. This exercise, as well as challenging your balance and coordination and alignment, is really going to help strengthen the muscles surrounding your hip into your pelvic floor and lumbar spine. So it's really strengthening for that area, as well as helping to injury-proof. As well as working on your balance, this is really great because you're strengthening those deep, stabilizing muscles. So if you find yourself falling over and you strengthen them, you'll be in a better position to stop yourself from falling over. Good. Okay, one more time to each side. Breathing out to bring that leg up. Inhale to come down. And our final one, breathing out. And inhale to come down. Well done. Once again, you can give yourself a little bit of a walk through your feet. And we're going to come down onto the mat. Okay, so now we're going to come into 4-point kneeling, and we're going to do some really lovely exercises on our hands and knees. Now, if you struggle with your wrists and having your wrists like that isn't available to you, you can create fists out of your hands and rest on your knuckles instead. So that's going to avoid any pressure going down through that wrist joint. Okay, so we're going to start with a cat position. So we need to set ourselves up with our knees directly beneath our hips, our wrists directly beneath our shoulders, and our spine in that neutral position. So ask yourself, first of all, what's going on with your elbows? Now, if like me, you're hypermobile, make sure that instead of your elbows pointing forwards, they're facing each other. So you're going to activate your biceps and triceps a little bit more. Finding that neutral spine and pelvis, we're going to do by doing something called a little pelvic tilt. So all we're going to do is just breathing normally, tuck your tailbone between your legs, so you're rounding through your spine, and then stick your bottom out. We're just going to do a few of these, so tucking and sticking out. Good. And we'll do a couple more here. And then set yourself up somewhere where you're halfway in between, so you're neither really sticking your bottom out and extending through your lumbar spine, and you're not tucking your bottom under, so you're nicely lengthened here. So we're going to get a lovely cat movement, which is just going to challenge the flexion of our spine. It's a really lovely exercise to do if you're feeling stiff and achy from sitting at the desk, and also first thing in the morning, just to get your spine moving. So we'll breathe in to prepare, and then as you breathe out, tuck your tailbone between your legs, roll your pelvis, and then one bone at a time, roll through your spine, so that your mid-back is going up towards the ceiling, your head comes down. So it's like you're a cat. And then as you inhale, you're going to extend back through to your starting position. Tummy muscles still coming on to support you here. Let's try going again. We're going to breathe out to roll. Tummy muscles coming in, head coming down, pressing the mat away from you. And inhale to extend all the way back through to your neutral position. Let's go again. So really nice and slow. Try and get as much flexion through your spine as possible. Head coming down and extending through. Now, some of you might need a little bit more padding on your knees and wrists. And if so, you can grab one of your small cushions and place it under there just to get that padding. It's going to reduce the pressure. Okay, so let's go a few more times. Really nice exercise to do. And this time we're going to go into an extension. So rather than stopping when you're in neutral spine and pelvis, we're going to continue that movement. So really stick your bottom out and press your breastbone forward. So we're getting extension through our spine. Really nice to get this movement. We don't often do it, but it's lovely for our posture and great for the health of our spinal column. So breastbone going forward And one more. So this movement is called pandiculation. This is what cats do first thing in the morning. When you see them stretch, they're actually tensing the muscles, really tensing them and then releasing them, which is actually going to help relax those muscles. So when we do tensing and releasing, very often our muscles release into a much longer position. Good. Got one final one here. So tucking under and extending through, lovely, and come back through to neutral. Okay, so you can sit back over your heels, give your wrists a bit of a rest before we go into our next exercise, which is called a tabletop. So this time, I'll give you a couple of options and you can do whichever suits you best. So our tabletop one, we're going to find that 4-point kneeling position once again. So make sure that your wrists are directly beneath your shoulders. Remember, you can create fists if you need to. Your knees directly beneath your hips, and you've got that lovely neutral spine and pelvis. So tabletop one. As we breathe in, we're simultaneously going to slide one leg away in line with our hips, as we slide the opposite arm away in line with our shoulder. And then breathing out, draw back in. Okay, so let's try that again. Sliding away on the in-breath, really pointing through that leg, extending that leg as much as possible. And come back through. Okay, so we're trying to keep our head from collapsing down. It's really easy to drop your head down or start looking forward. We want that long back of neck, just like we had when we were standing up. So this exercise, we're going from 4-point kneeling to 2-point kneeling, meaning that all these stabilizing muscles and deep core muscles are having to work really hard. So it's actually really toning for that area. So if you ever try to do thousands of sit-ups to get a six-pack, actually this is going to be much more beneficial because you're moving them dynamically in a really strong way. So they're supporting your entire torso. Okay, so we're going to bring our awareness up to our hips now. Now this exercise is super easy to start like rotating through your spine and sticking your bottom all over. But we're going to keep our hips square to the floor. You can imagine that you have a tray of drinks balanced on the back of your pelvis. You really don't want to drop those drinks. So you're going to keep your spine completely still. So this is our tabletop one. Now you can stick with that, or you can move into tabletop two, which is where we're going to raise our arms and legs up at the same time. So it's a little bit more advanced and you might find it a lot more challenging. So back into 4-point kneeling. Check your position. As you breathe in, we slide opposite arm and leg away. And then keeping your hips and your shoulders square, breathe out, try not to hit anything, and reach your arm and your leg up to shoulder and hip height. Then inhale to bring them down, exhale to return beneath your shoulder and your hip. Let's try going on the other side. We're going to slide away on the in-breath. Keep your shoulders and hips square. Exhale to float your arm and leg up. Inhale to bring down. Exhale to return. So we're going to do a couple more. So all the while, think about bringing your toe button up to your spine. And back in. Super. Okay, one more like this. Sliding away. Floating up. Well done. Coming back down. And return. And sit back. Take the pressure off your wrists. Give them a rock round from side to side. Just releasing any tension that you're now holding through there. Okay, so now you can either stick with that exercise or we can try going into something called a Superman. So this is another challenge. If you do this and you're likely to fall over, please make sure that you're not anywhere where you can hurt yourself. So don't do it near an open fire, don't do it in the kitchen. Just make sure that you've got lots of space around you. So rather than tabletop two, where we raised opposite arm and leg, this time we're going to try and raise same arm, same leg. So you're going to breathe in. You will have to slightly move your spine so your hips and shoulders aren't square anymore. And as you breathe out, float same arm, same leg up to shoulder and hip height. Sigma. Bring your arms down and come back, okay? Let's try on the other side. You might find one side is easier than the other. So breathing in to slide away. Breathing out, float up to hip and shoulder height. Bring them down and return. Great. Let's try one more time on each side. And then slide away, lifting up. Really focus on keeping your balance. Bring your arms down and return. Super. Last one. Sliding away on the in-breath. Breathing out to float up. Coming back down. And then sit back over your heels and give yourself a rest here. So take a few deep breaths in and out, releasing any tension that you started to hold through your head, through your jaw, and through your wrists. Okay, so we're going to do one last one on our hands and knees before we come onto our backs to lie down. So this one is called a dynamic side twist prep. And it's going to be an extension of Superman. So again, please listen to your body. If you're not up to it yet, don't worry. You can work up to this bit by bit. This is going to put together all those things that we've just done. So it's balance, coordination, breathing, core strength. So we come into that 4-point kneeling position. We're going to breathe into slide, same arm, same leg away. And then as we exhale, we're going to turn and float that top hand up to the ceiling as you come onto the side of your foot. Then we're going to circle back through, back to 4-point kneeling. Okay, so inhale, slide, opposite, same arm, same leg away on the opposite side. And then as you exhale, you're going to rotate onto the side of your foot and draw that top hand up to the ceiling, turning your head to look at your fingers. And then inhale to circle back through and down. Let's go again. Sliding away and drawing up. So really opening out your shoulders, trying to open your shoulders up to the ceiling. Inhale and down. You're only going to need to keep your tummy muscles coming in towards your spine. Sliding away once again. And rotating up, trying to keep your balance. Inhaling, circle that arm back down. Draw that leg in and sit back. Rest your wrists out here. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come over onto our backs now and lie in something called relaxation position. So you're going to need to get your narrow cushion, place it at the top of your mat or your blanket, and come onto lying on your back. So it's a lie on our backs with our head on that cushion and the weight going down through the back of your head, the back of your rib cage, and the back of your pelvis. Feet and knees are hip distance apart. We're going to lengthen our arms down by our sides and do the same pelvic tilt here that we did in our 4-point kneeling. So as you exhale, you're just going to rock your pelvis back to imprint your spine. And then as you inhale, arch away. So rocking back to imprint and inhale to arch away. I'm going to do a few more times like this. Really nice, again, first thing in the morning to wake up your core muscles and stretch out your spine and come back through to center. Okay, so we're going to go into a single knee fold. This is really going to fire up your core. So keeping that neutral spine and pelvis. So we're somewhere halfway in between. We're neither imprinting nor arching away. We're just halfway in between. You should feel your toe muscles working here. As we breathe out, we're going to hinge at that hip and draw that knee in. So our knee angle is at 90 degrees and you're drawing your thigh in until that is vertical, but without rocking back to your pelvis. And then inhale to come down. So going on the other side, breathing out, draw that leg in. Make sure you're not rocking back into your spine. Inhale to come down. Good. Take your arms up to the ceiling. It means you've got less of, well, you can't use your arms to help balance yourself here. Okay, so we're going to keep going from side to side. So breathing out, you should feel these lower abdominal muscles switching on here. Going on the other side. Now, you might want to stick with this, or you might want to make it more challenging by going into a double knee fold. So for our double knee fold, we breathe out, still breathing out, we bring the second leg up. So really working through our abdominal muscles here. Inhale to take leg one down and leg two. Okay, so this time we're going to lead with the opposite leg. Breathing out, make sure you're not rocking back into your spine. We're keeping our core muscles switched on as we draw that leg in. Now, I'd like you to think about what's going on through your abdominal area. When you try and bring that second leg in. Make sure that you're not pressing your tummy out in a dome. You're actually bringing your tummy button in towards your spine. It's very easy to dome, but we're going to keep that toe muscle coming in, and that's going to make sure that our abdominal muscles strengthen in the best position. Good, okay. You can take your arms down onto the floor if that's too much, and you can stick with that single knee fold if you prefer. Let's do one more round of this. So breathing out and out, keep your jaw unclenched. In and in. Super. Going to move this into a toe tap. So now I'm going to start in that double knee fold. Okay, now if you find that you're getting lots of tension through your quad muscles here, remember to use your glutes. So just engage your glutes a little bit. So for this toe tap, we're going to breathe out and just tap one heel down onto the floor, hinging at the hip, and inhale to come back. Okay, so go and get on the other side. Keep your shoulders released, relaxed, tapping, and return. Super. Going again. Breathing out. Tap and return. Now, this might be enough for you. If it's too much, you can go back into that double knee fold. And if you're feeling any pain whatsoever through your lumbar spine, stop this exercise. You need quite a lot of core strength. So if you're finding that you're straining and really arching, you need just to build up that strength by going into those single knee folds and building up bit by bit. But if you're finding this really easy and want more of a challenge, we can turn it into something called a dead bug. So we're going to bring our legs back up. So remember, listen to your body. Please don't do this if it's causing you any pain. We're going to bring our arms up so that our wrists are balanced over our shoulders. And now, as we toe tap down, we're going to take the opposite arm back towards the floor. And inhale to come back through. Okay, going on the other side. Again, listen to your body. Try to make sure that you're not arching through your spine and you're not feeling any pain there. Okay, so tapping and return. Tapping and return. We're going to do two more. Really feeling these core muscles working hard to support you here. Last one, tap and return. And then you can bring your knees in towards your spine and give yourself a rock from side to side here, just releasing any tension that you might be holding through your lumbar spine. Okay, so taking your feet back down on the floor now, and then bringing your hands out in a low V, so they're slightly wider than the mat. Bring your knees and feet together and really glue them together here. Okay, so then we're going to go into something called a hip roll, which is lovely to get that rotation through our spine, activating your core at the same time and getting movement through your hips. So we're going to start with our knees and feet glued together. Imagine you've got a 20-pound note between your knees that you really don't want to drop. As you breathe out, we take our knees over to one side, letting the top foot peel off the floor and rotating through your spine, keeping the opposite shoulder down. And then inhale, draw your core muscles in to come back through to center. Let's go to the other side. Breathing out, rotating to the side, keep that opposite shoulder down. Inhale to come back, really feel those toe muscles working to control this movement. Okay, so you can stick with this or for a more challenging exercise, you can bring your arms up in the air. So we're not using our arms for support anymore. You're just relying on the strength of your torso. So rotating to the side, coming back through to center. Going to the other side, rotating to the side, coming back through to center. Great. Let's go one more time to each side. Breathing out to rotate. Inhale to come back through to center. And one last time, breathing out. Back through to center. Bring your knees into your body one at a time and just give yourself a hug and move in whatever way feels great for you. Super. Okay, placing your feet down. We've got one last exercise to get some extension through our spine now. We're going to do a cobra. So get rid of anything around you. I'm going to come to lie on our fronts. So lying on our fronts and taking our feet ever so slightly further apart and rotating our legs so that our toes are pointing out and our heels are in. We're going to place our palms on the floor so that they're wider than the mat and level with your forehead. Elbows are on the floor And toe muscles are engaged here, so it's really easy just to collapse into the mat. But actually, you're quite active. You're going to bring your toe muscles in. This is going to get extension of our spine. You're going to breathe in here with our nose on the floor, and then as you breathe out, start pushing an imaginary marble away from you. And then one bone at a time, peeling yourself off the floor and lifting all the way up. Now we can do a mini cobra where you keep your elbows on the floor, or we can keep on lifting and extend through your arms. So you've got that lovely extension through your spine. Keep your shoulders melting down. Try not to let them come around your ears. And as we inhale, we're going to lengthen our spine back down onto the floor, one bone at a time, bringing your nose underneath you once again. So remember, you can stop at that mini cobra or you can keep going. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out, push that marble away again. And lift up one bone at a time, breastbone going forward, shoulders coming down, extending through your arms, holding here and lengthening back down, one bone at a time. And we're going to do one last one. Breathing in and breathing out, press your nose away, lifting all the way up, breastbone going forward, holding here. We're going to take 2 breaths here now. Really extending through your spine. It's really lovely for your posture. Lovely to counteract all of that flexion that we do when we work from home. Breathing in and lengthening back down one more time, one bone at a time. Bring your nose back under and then press through and come into a rest position. So send your bottom back over your heels, stretch your arms forward and bring your head down onto the mat. You can stack it on, you'll stack your head on a cushion or on your wrist if you prefer. And breathe in and out here, filling your lumbar spine with lots of air. Good. And then we're just going to press up through the center, sit in whatever way suits you best. And we're just going to take a nice full body stretch here. So breathing in and breathing out, take your arms all the way up. Come over to the side, reaching through your hands here. Back through to center, coming over to the other side. Reaching up to the sky, pressing the air away. And giving yourself a nice clap. Well